the renewal of the Ohio Cup. Cincinnati out of the southeast, Cleveland the northern end of the Buckeye State. And they collide for the first of three, the first of 6 meetings during this 2018 campaign. It begins at Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, Ohio. And hi again, everybody, alongside the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley and Jeff Pecoro. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Cincinnati Reds baseball. Let's get right to it. We found out after the game yesterday, 3 Reds are going to the All-Star game. Scooter Gennett, Eugenio Suarez, and, of course, Joey Votto for the 6th time.
Well, I don't know that there is a better surprise to get told that you're going to the All-Star game for the first time. Now, you may be leading the National League in a batting average like Gennett or RBIs like Suarez, but you still don't know until they actually come and say, hey, you're an All-Star. Joey Votto was voted in by the players. He's the on-base percentage leader in the National League. So 3 very deserving candidates from the Reds.
All right, let's turn the page now and zero in on tonight. The starter is right-hander Anthony DeSclafani, start number 7.
I think, Tom, when you watch DeSclafani, past his first start, I give him a pass on that. Through the first 5 innings of the ball game, he's handled everything well. And really, through the first 6, it's always that last inning whether he gets guys on base, not able to get out of it himself, and the runs have been given up by the bullpen. Hopefully that's not the way it works tonight.
Let's shift gears to the Indians. They are the leaders once again in the American League Central at 10 games over 500. Talk about a team full of all-stars. How about for a second straight year, 5 of them?
Well, you look at, these are the guys that we'll see tonight, batters, and you'll see Trevor Bauer and you'll see Corey Kluber. But you look at these numbers that these guys put up. The guy that just kills me, Tom, is the one in the middle, Francisco Lindor. And he's not bigger than a matchstick, and he hits the ball all over the place in the leadoff spot.
It's amazing. Ramirez, for the 2nd year in a row, is voted in as the starter. The other 2 are backup players. And meanwhile, you could make an argument their starter tonight, Mike Clevenger, could be on the All-Star team.
He's thrown the ball awfully well. A lot of jump, a lot of movement to you, and I'm not talking about the hair. I'm talking about the body language and how he really comes to the plate aggressively. Big-time fastball. He's also got the changeup that goes with it that keeps you off balance. But the pitch that gets me is that one right there. That curveball straight over the top. Watch this here. Oh. Better lay off of that tonight.
See, it's guys like you that have that hair, the long flowing locks.
Not anymore.
And Clevenger.
Oh, boy.
And guys like me and some of you at home are saying, why would he do that to us? Why? When we come back, we're going to hear from the Reds All-Stars. Jeff Pecoro is standing by with that on Fox Sports Ohio.
Cincinnati Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by Chevy. Check out our award-winning lineup only at your tri-state Chevy dealers. By Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. And by Buick. Get a $5,500 purchase allowance on most Buick Envision models. Well, the Reds have 3 All-Stars, as Tom noted earlier. 2 first-timers in Eugenio Suarez and Scooter Gennett, and Joey Votto going for the 6th time. I was able to talk to them after the announcement yesterday, and they were all so excited and happy to be an All-Star.
My heart is fast right now. I feel so happy, and you know that's an honor to be part of the All-Star game. Be a part of those players like Joey. He has a couple, and bro, right now I feel so happy because I know my dream comes true. So I always dream about be an all-star team, all-star game, be an all-star player.
You know, it's definitely nice when you get recognized by you know, your peers and you know, just being recognized for the effort, but also, you know, the performance and numbers and stuff is great. You know, it's definitely going to be a lot of fun going there and experiencing it. Obviously, it's my first one, so I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Well, the players voting me in was really exciting. And you know, I was really hopeful to make the team, and to make it is as always a great honor. So I'm very happy about that.
All right, so you heard the excitement in their voice, and coming up, the rivalry continues. It's the Natty versus the Land. Game 1 coming up.
Really tough losses the last 2 days at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Let's take a look at Jim Riggleman's starting lineup for the opener of this 3-game set in Cleveland. It'll be Scott Scheffler at right, Jose Peraza at short, Joey Votto at first, Gennett at second, Suarez at third. 3 straight All-Stars. Jesse Winker, the DH, Tucker Barnard catching, Adam Duvall in left, Billy Hamilton in center. And making his 18th start of the year, he has 1 complete game, a 7-3 record, an excellent ERA. Is right-hander Mike Clevenger.
This kid pitches with quite a bit of confidence, and when you can throw 3 pitches for strikes on both sides of the plate, I'd be confident too.
Clevenger waiting on Scheffler to finally get into the box. He does, and here we go. Pitcher standing in the bright sunshine. And first pitch swinging, laced into right field, a base hit, and that's the way it starts on the first pitch of the game.
Expect a first pitch fastball to begin the ball game, and you get it. And that's really where the Reds have been, Tom. They swing early and often, especially if you're throwing a lot of strikes.
Clevenger has struck out 99 in 110 innings. He's walked 36. Schebler, a perfect 3 of 3 in stolen base attempts. He's over at first, and here's Jose Peraza, the Cincinnati shortstop. First pitch inside and low, ball 1. Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire, also is a crew chief. James Hoy, the umpire at first. Ryan Addison is at second base, and Quinn Wolcott, the umpire, at third. Peraza, .277 batter, 5 home runs, 30 runs batted in. He's having a good, solid year.
He's really come on, Tom. I think confidence in his fielding and being more comfortable at shortstop has helped him offensively. And he's actually starting to drive the ball a little bit. We saw quite a few balls that he hit hard in Chicago into that left center field gap.
You saw that batting average right there in his last 37 games, this being the 37th tonight, nearly a .330 batting average for Jose Peraza. Of course, he got off to the terrible start, but steadily continues, as Cowboy mentions, to get better and better seemingly by the week.
He just looks more comfortable. He doesn't look like he's jumping at the ball as the ball comes to the plate. He's not under the ball that's away from him that we saw so early, the flares into right field.
And they have just picked off Schebler at first base. He went in standing up. I think Schebler is saying maybe we want to take a look at that. And Jim Riggleman will ask them to take a look.
He's got back.
James Hoy making the call. He'll come in with a crew chief, as we mentioned, Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire. And they'll be the two that will put on the headset, and they'll zero in back to New York City.
If Alonso takes the glove straight to the base, to the bottom of the foot, rather than in the middle between his legs, he gets it. But because of the swipe tag went down and went between his legs, he got his foot back before he actually made the tag. That move by Clevenger, better take notice of that. That was an awfully quick snap throw to first base. It's a Johnny Cueto move right there. Quick, short, the ball beats him to the bag. But you can see the tag of Alonso. It's in between the legs of Schebler. He'd already gotten his left foot back in there. That's when you know you have been picked off, at least visually. When the ball gets back to the bag and you're not on your belly, you're trying to get back standing up. That is a quick move from Clevenger. You're taking quite a bit of time on this one.
Sure are.
Trying to find out exactly when the foot hit the bag and when the tag came in. I thought he got his left foot back in there before the tag went up to the upper part of the leg.
Sure looked like it, but they are spending just an unbelievable amount of time to render a decision here. We're one batter into the game.
But from the angle that you get from the pitcher, it was very difficult to tell because of the body of Alonso. You couldn't really tell exactly where the foot came back to the bag as the tag was applied to the upper part of the leg.
And the call is safe at first. So the call has been overturned, and Schebler will stay at first base, and we'll get back to it.
I would bet his lead is a little shorter on this next pitch.
You know, the other part of this ballpark and the way it's configured geographically is the fact that the first baseman who has to, watch the pitcher make that throw, so it's probably tough to pick up the ball. You're staring right into the sun. Same old true for the runner over there. Two and two on Jose Peraza.
Definitely a smaller lead and definitely a lean back towards first base just in case.
And there's that sunshine we were talking about. Most ballparks are set up this way, faced in this direction, so the sun field tends to be right field of the first base side in the summer months. Great American Ballpark would be a complete reversal of that. Breaking ball, strike 3 call. That's a pitch you were talking about before we got started here tonight.
That's a really tough pitch, and you can watch why this is difficult. It starts towards the batter's hands, and you can see that front hip of Peraza kind of paralyzed momentarily. He was moving backwards as if the ball was going to hit him in that front hip. You get locked up like that, can't swing.
Off speed on the first pitch of Joey Votto, who waves through it at 292. 8 home runs and 44 batted in. Well, I want to tell you what, you want to read some folks that are really upset about Votto going to the All-Star game. Go look at some of the articles coming out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where granted Jesus Aguilar does not have the on-base percentage of Joey Votto, but he has nearly triple the number of home runs. He has more than, well, not quite more than double, but has over 60 runs batted in, and actually has a higher batting average than Joey Votto. But the players were the ones that voted Votto in. And you heard Joey's comments if you were with us with Jeff Pecoro just before the first pitch. He's quite pleased and honored that those around the National League would vote for him. He should be honored.
I think that's as big an honor as you can get, that your peers vote you in. They want to play with you on their team.
And that is always a tough thing about the All-Star game, not just in Aguilar's case or, you know, Votto going and him not going. It happens every year, both in the National and American leagues. And it might be the only chance that player gets to go to an All-Star game. I know one thing, he seems to be having a lot of fun playing this year, Joey Votto. We've seen more of his personality as each subsequent year rolls along, and now his 6th trip to the All-Star game this year in D.C. 2-2 to Votto. Strike 3 called. 95 on the inside corner, and Votto took a long second look. Wow.
This is a pitch that you're going to get called from home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg. It's the top of the strike zone. It's over the plate, but it's elevated to the hitter. That ball is above the belt. The pitch that's down at the bottom of the kneecaps, you're not going to see that pitch called by Jeff Kellogg. That's the pitcher's pitch. But that pitch right there that Votto was called out on, very difficult to pull the trigger.
So 2 away after a leadoff single by Chevelu. Still is over at first, and here's Scooter. 326 batter, 14 home runs, 58 runs batted in. Thought last year was a career year for Jeanette. The way things are going this year, it might turn out to be even better than his first as a Red. 2-0.
I think if you look at the trio of the way that it's set up with Votto, Jeanette, and Suarez, that's normally where you're going to get your run production in the middle of this lineup. Votto really doesn't have to hit the ball out of the ballpark because of what Jeanette and Suarez have done. He's just got to get on base for it.
And that he has done.
Yes, he has. I would imagine with the sun being right on top of the pitcher's mound, especially with the movement of Clevenger, it's not that easy to pick up going from sun to shade.
Well, and you go the hitter's back, you know, drop the batter's eye back there is also in the shade.
Right, it's dark, but you've got a little bit of glare from the ball coming out of the pitcher's hand.
Runner goes, and it's hit hard into right field, and what a play made in right by Tyler Naquin. Holy Moses, what a catch that was.
Run saver.
Wow. A run saver indeed. They will stand and cheer the Cleveland right fielder. What a job he's done here in Cleveland. His team, the leaders in the American League Central, and their lineup reads as follows. The front four as good as it gets. Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez, and Encarnacion, the former Red, the DH. Alonso, another former Red. Then Kipnis at second, playing hurt right now. Gomes, Naquin, and Allen. And on the mound for the Reds, Anthony DeSclafani.
Sinker and slider, especially early in the ball game, have been very kind to DeSclafani, especially lately.
Of course, he began the year on the disabled list, so for DeSclafani tonight is just his 7th start of the year. His last 2, at least statistically speaking, have not been very good, and it's been that final inning that's come in to bite him. His last start was against the White Sox. He went 5 1/3, allowed 6 hits and 5 earned runs. Started before that against Milwaukee, 6 1/3, 4 earned runs, and this one popped up by Lindor into foul ground. And Suarez with room, and that takes care of the very dangerous Francisco Lindor. Look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford. And of course, playing with a designated hitter, that means they'll use their best defensive outfield. Hamilton flanked by Duvall and Schebler, the regular cast of characters along the infield, and Tucker behind the plate.
A lot of grass for Hamilton to roam in this outfield. Of course, the Indians have a speedster in their own right in Greg Allen in center field. We just saw Tyler Naquin make an outstanding play.
Here's Michael Brantley. Boy, I tell you, it's nice to see this young man having come all the way back. He's had, you know, very, very, very tough injuries the last couple of years. He came back to play in the postseason, but wasn't nearly at 100% last year. They picked up his option, and he'll be a free agent at the end of the year, but now on his way back to the All-Star game. 11 home runs, 49 batted in, 23 doubles, and a 300+ batting average.
One thing for Michael Brantley that you can almost book pretty much every year is the fact he can flat swing the bat.
He's had a troublesome shoulder he's had to deal with, among many other injuries.
Ankle issues.
Yep. 3 balls and 2 strikes. But boy, you look at the first 4 hitters in this Cleveland lineup. I want to tell you something. I don't know how you could ask for anything more. And the Reds have 3 guys that are going as well as anybody in the game. Cleveland with 4. They're in the top 2 or 3 of all teams in baseball in terms of production from the first 4 hitters in their lineup. And now Brantley will draw a 1-out walk from DeSclafani. But look at this. 3rd most home runs, 2nd most extra base hits, 2nd most RBIs, runs, even stolen bases, with a combination of especially Lindor, the man who comes up now, who's arguably become their 2nd best player on this team in Jose Ramirez.
25 and 24 doubles and home runs. That's ridiculous.
Well, foul by Mile. He has the 2nd most extra base hits in all of baseball, 50 of them. 3rd most stolen bases in the American League. 4th best OPS, 4th best slugging percentage, 24 home runs. He's also walked 54 times. He's getting on base every time you turn around. But a weak pop up to the left side of the infield, and this will be out number 2. Reds have had a very, very difficult time, to say the least, winning games here in Cleveland. Now, they've handled the Indians by and large in Cincinnati.
Not here.
But not here. They have lost 16 of their last 18 games. And the Indians have nearly doubled them in terms of the number of runs. In their strike. Edwin Encarnacion, many of you remember, came up to the big leagues for the first time as a Cincinnati Red. And I'm not sure anyone envisioned he would become the slugger that he has turned into ever since leaving. 6 straight years of hitting 30 or more home runs. 5 years, including each of the last 3, he's knocked in over 100. It would be 6 years in a row of over 100 were it not for an injury in 2004.
I think the best thing that happened to Encarnacion is getting to play with the likes of Josh Donaldson and Jose Bautista.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Encarnacion disagrees. A good start for DeSclafani. 1 walk in the inning. End of 1. No score. The catch to save a run in the first inning by Naquin in right field. Wow.
It's not just the diving on the warning track, it's the jump that you get, especially with the ball hit directly over your head. That's the toughest ones for an outfielder to catch.
How good was Eugenio Suarez over the weekend in Chicago?
Clutch. A lot of folks out there that think that's a crazy term to use in baseball. When you come up big, when your team needs you to, that's clutch.
Well, we remember back in April when he fractured his right thumb. So you have to bear in mind he missed over 2.5 weeks worth of games, yet he leads the National League in runs batted in. No Red has done that over a full year since the great Dave Parker in 1985. Second in slugging percentage, third in on base percentage among all National Leaguers, and he draws a walk to begin the Reds' second inning of a scoreless game.
We have seen Suarez, i.e. last year, get on a roll for a month and then things would fall off. This has not been the way Suarez has been here in 2018. Once he came back from that injury, he has just continued to climb the leaderboard, not just in RBIs, but the way he's putting the ball in play, line drives effectively. I mean, his batting average is continuing to climb as well.
Now Winker, the DH. Strike one. Winker, another guy getting on base. In fact, with the 10th most frequency among all National League players. That's pretty good for a rookie. Tardy on a couple of Clevenger fastballs and quickly behind 0-2.
What has really been amazing to me, Tom, is just the times that Winker has been at the plate with runners in scoring position or a chance to do something big in a ball game. A lot of rookie hitters would be jumping at the pitcher. He stays back, stays nice and under control, and he's able to come up big in some of those situations. That's not an easy task for a young player. I actually think he's a better hitter with runners on base than he is if he's leading on.
And the numbers bear that out. By over 100 points.
Patient hitter, confident. It's tough to do when it's your first year in the big leagues now.
2-2 on Winker, and Clevenger to the plate, and a Tapper foul.
Even when Winker had some down times, when he went into a bit of a slump, didn't have a whole lot of hits for about 30 or 40 at bats, you didn't really see him waver in his approach at the plate. He just believes he can hit, and I think that's a great asset for a young player.
Once again, a 2-2 coming on Winker. 3-2. Now for a guy who has a good eye at the plate, can generally put the bat on the ball. You start Suarez over at first base here. He's only had one stolen base attempt and has a very, very short lead. He's running. And a Tapper, they'll stay out of a double play, and that's out number 1 in the inning. Look at Cleveland on defense, presented by Ford. Had some injuries and some guys in and out of their outfield. So Allen and Naquin getting playing time tonight. Rock solid infield, although Kipnis playing with a tender hamstring and really having a down year. Cowboy mentioned earlier, Allen can really run.
Well, between Allen and Naquin, they cover some ground on the right side of that outfield.
Here's Tucker. Driven into right center field. No one's going to get to this one. This will go to the wall. So get the Reds on the board. Rounding third, scoring is Suarez on a double by Tucker Barnhart. 1-0 Cincinnati.
Good sign to see, especially off the bat of Barnhart. He's had quite a bit of struggles as of late. There was no struggle in that swing. Fastball, middle in. He didn't miss that one.
A lot of talk upon arriving in Cleveland here today that, you know, some of the ills of this Cleveland team could be cured by what the Reds might have on their roster and looking ahead to the trade deadline. Now, no one out of the Reds camp is specifically saying much about it, but a lot of people trying to connect the dots, and the one name that continued to come up over and over again is Adam Duvall. This ball in a straightaway center field, hit a ton. Racing back is Allen. He will get it against the wall. Second great play made by an Indians outfielder in as many innings tonight.
That was a la Billy Hamilton right there. That ball was crushed. Another ball straight away to center field, and Allen just has to turn and burn. No fear of the wall whatsoever. Great play.
So Naquin with a diving catch and right in the first inning, and now this play by Allen. Oh my.
It could very well be 3-0 right now without those two catches.
Now Billy. Hamilton's batting average really creeping up now, up to 231. I mean, it was under 200 not all that long ago. He's had a pretty good extended run at it here of late. His last 25 games, he's been a .329 batter.
He must see the ball really well in Chicago, because it seems like every time we roll in there, he's raking. 7 for 10 in 3 ball games. He was on base, it felt like, every time he came to the plate.
He's one of the few guys on the planet that actually doesn't mind facing John Lester.
He wears Lester out.
And I don't know how many of those guys there are.
There are not many. Can't be. Not with a 2.2 ERA.
Seemingly for 2 decades. 1-2 to Hamilton. Runner at second. And a run home. Got him swinging on the breaking ball, but the double by Barnhart after a leadoff walk gets the Reds on the board. Great play by Allen, saving more than that. for the Ohio Cup. Team split last year. Cleveland the most wins in the series. And we brought up their success here in Cleveland over the last 18 games, winning all but 2. But the Reds in front tonight, 1-0 in the first of 3. 3 straight night games. A couple guys been around the game for a long time. In fact, Jim Riggleman was a bench coach for a short time here in Cleveland. Breaking ball low and in to Yonder Alonso.
Former Red himself.
Yes, indeed. Former #1 pick by the Reds out of the University of Miami. Seventh pick overall in 2008. Made it to the Major League Club in 2010. Only played in 22 games. Played in 47 the next year. Was batting .330 for the Reds, and they traded him in that huge deal.
Matt Lato's deal, right?
Yep. They sent the #1 pick Alonso, another #1 pick in Yasmani Grandal, a second-round pick in Brad Boxberger, and Edinson Volquez, who had been to the All-Star game. All for Matt Latos. Yonder's in a little bit of pain right now. He had his best major league season by far, did Alonso, but like many other players, let's see exactly where this got him. Got the foot, right foot, front foot. I was starting to say there are dozens and dozens and dozens of players who went from having a career high of 10 home runs to 25, career high of 8 to 23 in terms of home runs with what many believe was a live baseball a year ago. And Alonso would be right at the top of that list. Ground ball. That's Peraza to throw him out. His prior career high in the major leagues in home runs was 7. Last year he hit 28. Of course, now in fairness to him, he played in San Diego.
And that's no easy ballpark to hit the ball out.
Here's Kipnis. He did not play in the game yesterday. It was a hamstring injury the last couple of years that have really taken away so much of his production. This was a once feared offensive player. Not so much anymore.
He's the one that used to hold his bat flat. Almost, and he's doing it right now. Now he puts it back up. Almost looked like he was trying to poke the catcher in the mask with the bat.
Yep.
As he sets up.
He's had a good career.
Problem that you have as you age, if you start to get in a rut a little bit, especially on the ball that's close to your hands, you start trying to be a little bit too quick.
Billy will back up a few paces in straightaway center field, and virtually no wind here tonight. It is an absolutely glorious weather night. I know you said the weather in Chicago is great over the weekend. Well, apparently that weather has just come right along the Great Lakes, and just a perfect summer day. Thank God for that. Expecting more of the same. In fact, this 3-day trip, and then we understand it's going to be extraordinarily hot in St. Louis over the weekend, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. Right now, perfect. 2 away in the inning for Yan Gomes. 0-1.
Gomes likes to swing early. Gomes is one of those types of hitters you can start a good breaking ball on the plate and move it off the plate or down under the strike zone. He'll chase it a little bit. Same thing with that last sinker. only problem with this guy is if you spin one up there and it stays on the plate too long, he's going to hammer it. There's your breaking ball right there.
And a good one. Fifteen career games, 5 long ones for Gomes.
He's not the kind of guy that you just want to spin a breaking ball over the plate to get ahead.
That one laced into left field and knocked down by Duvall. I believe that was a breaking ball that just sort of stayed in the middle of the plate. That's still a nice play out there by Duvall.
No doubt. You see where this breaking ball is. It actually started to go down, but it stayed in the middle of the play. Not only did he almost catch it, but the ball, when it hit the ground as it started to come up, he was able to keep it in front. If that ball gets by him, Gomes is at least at second base.
Naquin, the number 8 hitter, playing in his 50th game, a .260 batter, a couple of home runs, 16 knocked in. They thought this guy at one time was going to be an excellent everyday player, and then year by year they kept waiting and waiting, and it got to a point where they basically were looking to turn him loose in spring training, and were it not for injuries, he probably is not even on the major league roster. But here he is, and he's made a great catch already in the game tonight.
I don't think the defensive side has ever been a problem for Naquin. It comes from the lack of offense. He is hitting .260 right now. And with a guy with some speed, you just want him to get on base. Stop trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark with every swing.
Milwaukee, the division leader in the National League Central, going into play tonight. They won their weekend series over Atlanta. A game and a half in front of Chicago. The Cardinals are 7.5 back. Milwaukee opening a series tonight in Miami. No score in that game in the second inning. Cubs are out west to take on the Giants. Fly ball should end the inning, and it will. We've played 2. The battle for the Ohio Cup, round 1. Reds lead by a run. To town in August. The Ohio Cup ticket package presented by the Ohio Lottery. You get an exclusive Reds t-shirt and your ticket to the August 14th game. This limited edition t-shirt is only available through this offer. Purchase today at reds.com/themes. That's a good looking t-shirt.
I like that shirt.
Like that a lot. A lot of Reds fans made the easy drive up, straight up I-71. I may have passed one or two of you along the way today.
I bet you did.
Well, what a great day to drive. Roll the windows down, turn on some tunes, and let her rip. That's what Schebler's done now twice in the game. He had a single his first time up and a single now his second time up.
Hit that one too hard. Hit the base of the wall. Nickman plays it perfectly. Both of these balls from Schebler are on first pitches, and that's a first pitch changeup. Smoked it.
Schebler nearly picked off after a single in the first inning. Clevenger with a very quick move, especially for a right-hander. There goes Schebler, swing and a miss, throw from his knees, and they got him. What a throw by Yan Gomes.
Nice job by Lindor to hang right in there. You can see that left arm kind of hooked back to the runner. The throw tails into the runner. The outstanding quick release right from the knees. Watch the arm. It tails right into the runner. And Lindor just rides the slide of Schebler.
So after a leadoff single, base is wiped clean, one away in the inning, and it's quickly 0-2 on Peraza, who was called out on strikes, a breaking ball his first time up.
Couldn't really tell if Schebler looked back in or not on that run. Peraza did swing, but it looked like the swing from Peraza was more of a protection swing rather than a hit and run swing.
There's another swing and a miss by Peraza on that breaking ball, and he has struck out for the second straight time. That's 4 of them in the game now for Clevenger.
He's got Peraza on the same pitch in both at bats. Big high leg kick. It's awfully difficult to pick up the ball with Clevenger.
It gives you an idea as to the strength of this Indian starting rotation, and make no mistake about it, when they have everybody healthy, it is a major strength of this team, and we'll talk more about it later. 1, 2, 3. As far as number of batters in the inning after a leadoff single, it's still 1-0 Reds in front.
T-Mobile Home Run Derby on ESPN July 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then catch baseball's biggest stars at the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 17th on Fox. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern. And guys, last night, Homer Bailey, 2 innings. Decent pitching last night, 43 pitches. He did walk 2, but no runs. So nice outing for him in Louisville. Of course, they are now on the All-Star break. So we shall see what is next for Homer. We have been told that he will throw a bullpen on Tuesday in Dayton, and then we shall see where they send him.
All righty. Well, I mean, Fox Sports Ohio breaking out all the stops tonight with a Reds Live pregame show. Ryan Giesenslaw picks here. Ronnie Millinor, Kent Dreamweaver, Sam LeCure, a cast of thousands. But Mr. Reds Live himself was nowhere to be found. That would be Jim Day.
He's on the radio.
Oh, he is?
He's filling it.
Really? Well, I thought he had just been maybe left in Chicago. That ball driven into deep left center field. Billy to go get it. You better believe it.
Well, we talked about all of the ground that it seems like is available to hit into. Well, when you've got 2 speedy center fielders, if the ball is in the air a long time, it's probably going to get caught unless you hit it out of here.
So back to the top of the order we go in Lindor. Among one of the great players in all the Major League Baseball. Fooled badly on a breaking ball there. He fouled out to the third baseman Suarez his first time up. Man, this guy's a good player. I mean, he's got a chance to be their Barry Larkin. Depending on, how long he's playing. I'm not suggesting at this point in time that he is Larkin or a Hall of Famer, but he is certainly putting up numbers now for the last 4 years since being brought to the big leagues as a very young man, where you say to yourself, certainly someone to watch for many years to come.
And I think you're right about the longevity. If you're going to be compared to Barry Larkin and look at your career as a Hall of Fame career, it takes a long time.
Yep.
But this kid's off to a great start.
So 2 down in the inning for Michael Brantley. And he pulls it foul. Brantley walked his first time up. Anthony has given up 1 hit. That was a 2-out single to Jan Gomes in the second inning. He's walked 1, struck out 1.
Tells you a little bit about a veteran hitter like Michael Brantley. First time up, he walks. This time up, he thinks, all right, he's going to try to get ahead of me with a fastball. He did, and he was jumping all over it.
Good movement on that pitch, and that had some giddy up on it. You don't see DeStefani cut many loose at 95.
Well, that pitch that's away from his arm side, this pitch that's down and into lefties, away from right-handers, it starts off the plate and then it begins to come back, and it can be confusing to try to hit.
Tried it again and didn't get it there.
Left it up. One thing when the ball starts in and runs back to the corner, you'll get a foul ball or you may get a take for a strike. If it starts on the corner and runs back to the middle, look at it.
Ball 1-2 Ramirez, who popped up weakly to Suarez his first time up. This guy really cemented himself as an everyday player, but he continues to get better and better every year. It really began the second half of that season 2 years ago, where they went to the World Series, losing in that heartbreaking 7-gamer to the Cubbies. And you see where he ranks Off the glove of Votto. Scooter bare hands throws and got it. Oh my goodness. Have we seen some defense here tonight? How about this play by Scooter Jeanette? And he may have gotten hurt. He was going far to his left. The ball ricocheted. He had to reach back to get it barehanded. And if you wonder if maybe he felt a little twinge in that groin area, they're probably going to look at it again. By Scooter Jeanette.
Just to be able to change his body angle and dive backwards and catch the ball barehanded, that was a great part of the play. And you still get the guy out? You got to be kidding me.
The Indians did ask for a review, and they lost that decision, so they're out. And now telling Sandy Alomar all about it.
His brother was pretty good over there at second base.
Yeah. That's Sandy Alomar Jr. I don't want to take away from his father, who also has had an incredible career in baseball. Yeah, his brother, man. I mean, you know, that's one of the guys that seems to frequently get overlooked. I'm not so sure in my 30 years announcing, and Cowboy, you played against this guy. I'm not so sure in my 30 years announcing that he's not the best all-around player I've ever seen.
He was about as good as at second base as I think you can play the position defensively. And there's no doubt he could hit. Very tough out. But playing second base, especially turning the double play in his range and being able to make those types of plays, you've got to be right up there.
And last time I checked, he is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is.
Okay. I'm not suggesting there aren't other guys. I thought Barry Larkin was right in that group. Watching him all those years, former teammate of yours, he was one of the top 5 players I've ever seen. All around now, all around. Could do everything you would ever ask a player to do.
Hit with power, run, catch the baseball.
Yep.
And a strong arm to go with it.
Barry Bonds was in that group, no doubt about it. Whether you like him, don't like him, did what he did, didn't do what he didn't do, whatever he did, it doesn't matter. I mean, he was there. He could do it all. One ball, one strike on Scooter Jeanette. After making that play, naturally he leads off the following inning.
There is a bit of timing that you have to figure out with Clevenger. That big leg kick. And instead of the big leg kick and immediately coming to the plate, he has the big leg kick up, and then there's a bit of drop and drive, almost a pause before he comes to the plate.
Look, this guy's had a big-time year now. You know, I was starting to talk about in the last inning the Reds were at the plate about how deep and talented this Cleveland rotation is, and it gives you an idea. Clevenger last year posted career highs in just about everything. I mean, he had 12 wins. He had a 3.11 ERA for the year in 121 innings. He started 21 games. He went 12-6. And he was fighting for a spot in the rotation in spring training. That gives you an idea. And now they have Carrasco back to go with Kluber, Bauer. Kluber and Bauer going to the All-Star game. Just brought over Bieber. He just called up from the minor leagues. Rookie right-hander. Pitch taken low and away, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. They have Salazar on the DL. This is a team that is probably a couple of deals away from being right there to win the whole thing.
Well, you just wonder what this Cleveland club will do from a bullpen perspective.
Yep. And that was another part of the conversation with these two teams matching up is, you know, do they match up in regard to helping the other at the trade deadline? And there is no doubt the Reds have some outstanding pitchers in their bullpen. And right now, without Andrew Miller, with a knee injury in the Cleveland bullpen, they let Brian Shaw leave as a free agent. He's now in Colorado. This has not been the same Indians bullpen, and the numbers bear it out. Starters are great. Bullpen, not so much.
And that bullpen has been a tremendous strength for Terry Francona up until 2018.
Now with Miller, there's no structural damage to his knee. It's the second year in a row it's bothered him. But they're worried about him getting into bad mechanics because of landing on the knee and so forth without getting overly technical, as Suarez has a count of 1-0. But, you know, look, in this division, the second place team is 9 games under 500. Under 500. The Indians have a 9.5 game lead in their own division. So they are really going to let Miller take his time in terms of getting back. Now some of the fans around here, and it's only natural, they'd be saying, oh, wait a minute, you know, don't we want to get home field advantage? When you're going on the road in the postseason with Kluber, Carrasco, Bauer, it doesn't matter. You'd rather play at home, but it doesn't matter.
And I would agree with that. Those 3 guys you just listed off, they could start in any rotation.
Suarez went around and he didn't do it. 5 strikeouts for Clevenger.
This ball looks like it just jumped all over Suarez. Fastball up middle and just exploded at the end. There are certain pitchers, Tom, that may throw 95. It might look 90. Then there are guys like Clevenger, throws 95. It looks like 100. All has to do with hiding the baseball, whether it be from a mechanical standpoint, maybe from the way your arm slot is as it comes through. Maybe you step across your body a little bit.
And sometimes it could be your body type,
right,
with the hair and the long arms and the tall frame,
the flow.
I mean, you look at a guy like Syndergaard, he looks like he's throwing 10,000 miles an hour, and he does throw hard. But a guy like DeGrom throws very hard too, right, you know, but he doesn't look like it, to your case in point.
From a hitter's perspective, you're always looking right to the ear of his arm slot, whether he's left-handed or right-handed. That's where you're trying to pick the ball up. And there are certain guys that keep the ball behind their head for a long time or behind their back for a long time. It's difficult to pick up, and it just looks like it shoots out the last second. Now, there's a lot of moving parts with Clevenger, but this ball looks like he's throwing from his right ear. Watch the arm come up and then snap.
That ball hooked down the line into the corner off the bat of Winker. This will go for extra bases. On his way to third is Scooter. Billy Hatcher's going to wave him around. Here comes the throw to the plate, and what a pick by Gomes.
Safe.
But the ball comes out and the runner is safe. Thought Gomes had it. And Scooter all the way from first on the 2-base hit by Winker, who goes to third on the throw to the plate.
I thought it was a great throw from Kipnis. I'm not sure that you can handle a relay any better than what Naquin and Kipnis did. And the throw had a good hop to it, and he just flat dropped it.
Very important that Winker, with one out in the inning, was able to go all the way to third, because now you got a chance to add to this 2-0 lead. Barnhart drove in the first Reds run with a double into right center field. The Indians bring their infield in.
Two leadoff walks tonight for Clevenger. They both scored.
Yeah, the walk to Suarez to begin the second. The walk to Jeanette to begin this fourth. In fact, the Reds have had the leadoff batter aboard in each of the first 4 innings of this game. Schebler with a pair of singles to start the first and in the third, and then the walks we just mentioned. See if Barnhart can bring in the third run. And he will. Hooked into right field, a base hit, a 2-for-2 night with 2 batted in for Tucker Barnhart, bringing in Winker. It is 3-0 Cincinnati here in the 4th inning.
That's back-to-back left-handed batters that have hit off-speed pitches from Clevenger that he's just left over the plate. It's a hanging breaking ball. It's up and it's hammered. And that's the same pitch he threw to Winker, and he jerked it down the right field line.
Carl Willis, a big league pitching coach.
And he's probably telling Clevenger right now to slow things down a bit. A lot of times you get in a hurry, and if you're mechanically awkward, and we talked about Clevenger jumping to the plate. Now that can make it difficult to pick up for a hitter, but it can also play devil's advocate on the other side from a pitching standpoint. Mechanically, you start really jumping to the plate, your arm gets a little bit low, you don't get on top of the pitch. And both of those breaking balls he was underneath, and that's the reason they hung in the middle.
Some might remember Carl Willis. He actually pitched for the Reds for about 2.5 years back in the mid-1980s. Swing and a miss by Adam Duvall.
Much better breaking ball there. Greg Allen, the center fielder, was playing well over to the left center field side on the first 2 pitches. Now he's moved directly behind second base, dead in center field.
Gone swinging Duvall, and that's a 6th strikeout of the game for Clevenger.
It's a pretty good adjustment by Clevenger. Pitching coach comes out, tells you to slow down, get on top of the breaking ball. He throws 3 just like that.
See, the lefties coming into the game tonight, just .221 the batting average against Clevenger, but the Reds hitters so far so good. 5 of 10, 4 of those coming off the bats of Schebler and Barnhart, each 2 for 2 in the game. Another base hit was Winker on the RBI double a moment ago from a left-handed hitter.
Well, the changeup for Clevenger to left-handers has got to be the equalizer. But at least early in this ball game, when he has thrown his changeup to left-handers, it's leaked to his arm side towards the third base side and off home plate. Thing about this kid, he gets the ball and he's ready to pitch. He's not out there pawing at the mound and trying to think about what he's going to do. I believe Billy's about to see one of those curveballs right here.
And that's what got him swinging his first time up. 3 runs, 5 hits for Cincinnati. No runs, 2 hits for the Indians. 2 outs, runner at first, 2 runs home in this 4th. There's a breaking ball and it's popped up. Who's going to get it? Lindor, inning over. But the Reds get 2 on base hits from Winker and Barnhart and lead by 3. By IGS. It began with the first inning diving stab by Naquin. An inning later, Duvall, a rocket into center field. Crashing into the fence was Allen. And then a play by Scooter on the Redleg side.
It's just good baseball. Get great jumps in the outfield. There's a reason that Greg Allen and Tyler Naquin are playing. It's not the offensive numbers. It's the fact that they can go catch the baseball. They've shown that tonight. As you said earlier, Jeanette made the All-Star team with his bat, but he showed a little bit of handiwork there.
I got to tell you, you and I were talking about this because we went to break right away before the Indians and made the decision whether they would ask for that play to be replayed. I've seen now probably 10 replays. On 9 of the 10, the guy looks. Am I right?
I know.
I mean, it's weird, man.
It's the angle and how much you can slow it down.
Golly day. But I can't remember one like that in a long time where you're going, okay, yeah, he's safe, and then you see one and you're like, oh, maybe. And it was still a maybe, right?
Well, I thought he was safe, but the call on the field was out. And you know that in order for them to turn that over, there's got to be clear and convincing evidence that he was safe. So,
well, I might have been dismissed from the jury right away because yeah. Oh well, good for the Reds. Encarnacion to start things off. 2-2 count. Bouncer over the mound. They had him played perfect. That's Jeanette. 1 out.
So far for DeStefani, he's pitched true to form. First 5 innings, sometimes the first 6 innings, he's managed quite well. And I think it's going to be up to Jim Riggleman to kind of decipher, okay, when has he reached the end of his rope?
So here's Yonder Alonso. He grounded out to Peraza, who's playing him to the first base side of the second base bag, and that's where he picked up the ground ball back in the second inning.
It's interesting the way that the Reds play Alonso now versus what we saw from him when he first got to the big leagues. Everything was to the left side of second base. The Reds aren't playing him that way now. Everything is to the pull side. I mean, normally we'll see some major infield shift to the right side, but yet the outfield may shift the other way. It's dead pull everywhere.
And our StatCast powered by AWS gives you an idea of the spray chart for Yonder Alonso. You can understand why the Reds do what they do. Only 19% of the time that he puts it in play is he hitting it to the third base side of the second base bag.
And I think if you're going to play this type of defensive alignment, if you're going to go away, it's got to be soft so he gets out in front a bit and pulls it. If you're going to go hard, it's got to be in on his hands and make sure that he spins on it.
Spun on that one and pulled it foul.
That's actually a great pitch for DeStefani. A fastball in off the plate, and he pulls it foul. You can go a lot of different places now.
Tried the outside corner and missed. Full count on Yonder Alonso. First time the sun completely ducking off of the playing field. Those out in right field still in the sunshine. And that ball is hit out that way hard. And it's gone. Solo home run by Yonder Alonso puts Cleveland on the board.
Not sure I would have gone back in with a fastball for a strike after the ball he hit foul down the right field line. You had him fooled on the backdoor breaking ball in the previous pitch. Barnhart wanted it away, and you see where this pitch ends up. I mean, it's middle, it's belt high, and those don't usually come back.
So it's a 2-run game, 3-1 Reds in front, 1 out. Here's Kipnis. Strike 1. That's a 10th home run in 37 innings now surrendered by DeStefani since coming off the disabled list. Red starters have given up a pile of home runs. Votto will beat Kipnis to the bag for the second out of the inning. I mentioned earlier that Kipnis has been bothered by a bad hamstring. They sat him out of the game yesterday. He wasn't even going 70% up the line.
You know, I can live with the home runs as long as they're solo shots, or if you're not walking a lot of batters and initiating the traffic on the base paths yourself. But when you start giving up home runs and you bunch them together with walks, that's not going to work.
No. And, you know, DeSclafani's only walked one batter here tonight, so he's only allowed a total of 3 hits and a solo home run. Okay, you're still up by 2. 2 down, nobody on. And this one's straight up in the air, and an easy play for Hamilton. We've played 4. Alonso gets Cleveland in the run column. 3-1 Cincinnati in front.
A 46 All-Star game, the AL leading 8-0. Rip Sewell threw back-to-back eephus pitches to Ted Williams. Williams fouled out the first one. Now the second one he didn't foul it off. Hit that one for a home run. The only home run that Sewell ever gave up on his famous blooper pitches. Ted Williams, the greatest hitter in the history of baseball. That's our Geico History Minute. Guys.
Yes, indeed. Heck, yes, indeed. The great Ted Williams. Gosh, that would have been fun to watch him play. I know there's some of you out there that were around to see Ted Williams play. I've run into a number of you through the years, whether it's at Kroger or UDF or wherever in and around town, Skyline. That would have been fun to watch him play regularly. Scott Schebler to lead things off. It's the 3rd inning. He's led off. In the 1st, he had a single. 3rd, he had a single. And here we are in the 5th with the Reds in front of Clevenger and the Indians 3-1.
Did I hear you say something that you had some UDF?
You know, look, as you know, when you're in town, you know, there are just some Cincinnati quote-unquote favorites. I refer to them, right? So.
Well, that's my favorite.
Yes.
I like that.
But, you know, I haven't asked you for a while. I haven't asked you this year, you know, because summertime's really just kicking into gear here in the last couple of weeks, right? So.
Good time for ribs, barbecue, and good time for ice cream.
Yeah, but there was a time there where you would go into your local UDF around the corner from your house and you would get 8 scoops of ice cream in one of those jumbo cups. Where, if I remember right, you started at the bottom with mint chocolate chip.
Exactly.
Right? And then you went with regular chocolate chip?
No. Cookies and cream.
I'm sorry, cookies and cream. And then at the top, you would put the mint chocolate chip back on the very top, right, so and let it sort of ooze down, right? Now, have you gone back to that yet this summer?
I have.
You have?
I have. We were at kids that were up last week. We went up to Tony's, ate dinner. You know, I mean, that's a big steak.
Okay.
You come out, and I went in there because UDF is right across the street there. I'm checking it out right there at Fields Erdel. looking at, they got all this new kind of ice cream.
They do. They have a lot of good ones in the summertime.
They've got mint cookies and cream now.
You're kidding me.
Crushed me.
So that ball driven down the right field line, foul. So has there been a change in your order now with the combination now of a mint, cookies, and cream?
Yeah, I put that on the top.
Well, that goes on the top.
That goes on the top.
Okay.
And let that drizzle down. That's pretty good. I don't know if you're a mint fan.
I do. I love it.
Mint,
love it.
Cookies and cream. Oh, that's deadly. That's deadly. Oh my.
8 scoops again, though.
That'll hurt you. Yes.
Wow.
That gal looked at me like I had 3 heads.
Peraza gone swinging. Wednesday in all-new Reds League. We ought to do a bit on that one of these days. Votto, Suarez, Jeanette, their reaction to being all-stars. Jeanette shows off his special lumber, plus relives some of the greatest moments in Cincinnati all-star history. It's brought to you by Miami Valley Gaming. A new episode Wednesday at 6, right here on Fox Sports Ohio and streaming on Fox Sports Go. I think we need to get those guys out there, Jeff Pecoro, Doug Flynn, to come out and have you and have you take them
through the ordering process.
UDF. Yes, I think it'd be great. So now Clevenger trying to put the side away. Eight strikeouts in the game for Clevenger. He's trying to strike out the side here in the 5th. But he trails in this one 3-1.
It seemed like that home run from Alonso gave even Clevenger a bit of extra energy here.
It's a good crowd here tonight. They've not done a great job drawing a lot of fans, even with all the winning baseball they've played the last couple of seasons. But a good crowd here tonight. Monday night, beautiful night.
A lot of Red folks up here too.
Yeah. I mean, you can't ask for an easier drive.
There were a lot of Reds fans in Chicago. I was amazed.
High fly ball into left center field, hit well, and that ball will carry out of here. And for Votto, just his 3rd home run in the last month. It's a high wall, but it's not a very deep wall out in left center field. And Votto finds the seats to make it a 4-1 game.
That ball was hit hard. I thought it was just going to be off maybe the middle of the wall, and it just kept right on going. Had a bit of carry to it. It's his 3rd home run since May 14th. He didn't miss that. Watch Votto almost lean back here. Boom.
And now Scooter, so the Reds get that run right back after the home run by Yonder Alonso.
And that's one of those times, Tom, where if you're Clevenger, you come out, you punch out 2 batters in a row. You're feeling all right. I'm a little froggy. And then you reach back for that extra on the fastball and you leave it right in the heart of the plate. Cannot do that.
Well, Votto's played enough games in this ballpark. You can just tell by his reaction after it left his bat. He thought it had a chance, good chance, to get out of here. 392 feet off the bat of Joey Votto. So Clevenger strikes out the side, but a hiccup after the first 2. The home run by Votto. And after 4.5 here in Cleveland, the Reds lead the Indians 4-1. Cincinnati Children's now ranked number 2 in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. And by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. Of course, the building there was the national headquarters of Sherwin-Williams Paints, I believe, based out of Cleveland, Ohio. And they had a 9-story LeBron James banner, which was placed by a big shoe company on the side of that building for many, many years since LeBron came back into town the last 4 years. And of course, he just announced last week that he's leaving as a free agent, going to the Los Angeles Lakers. So they're pretty bummed out about that around these parts, as Naquin shoots one into left field, a base hit. They had a great run at it, though, under LeBron James. All 4 years they went to the NBA Finals that he was here. They won it 1 time, so wish him well. Grew up just down the road, of course, in Akron, Ohio.
So did they take down the banner?
They did this week. It's a big deal. That was almost like a national landmark here in this city the last 4 years. And of course, their arena just on the other side of the fair pole out in left field.
Looks like they're doing a bunch of outside renovations to that.
Yeah, they're getting ready to pour a lot of money into that building, I understand. I'll tell you, it's a great building. I'm surprised they're going to spend as much money as they are. And I've been to games here the last couple of years. I think it's a great place, but they feel like it needs some, you know,
a little polish.
Yeah, a little polish, so they're going to do it. Good for them. Bottom part of the batting order here, so you get Naquin, the number 8 hitter, who starts the inning with a single, and then you start the number 9 hitter at 2 balls and no strikes, and you got the big fellas coming, starting in the on-deck circle.
It's a recipe for disaster. Let 8 and 9 get aboard with Lindor waiting in the wing.
And now 3-0.
Well, a 4-1 lead is awfully nice, but when you're talking about the top of the Indians order, that 1 through 4 you described earlier, they can pull that back in the 32nd minute.
Would that be a New York minute, or would that be a Mississippi minute? I guess that fast it had to be New York, right?
That had to be New York, because there ain't any 32nd minutes where I live.
3-2 the count. Like to slow things down a little bit.
Slow and smooth, baby. That's how we like it.
Three and 2 the count. Runner not going. Double play ball all the way here.
Hurry.
Got him. Hard hit right at Jeanette.
I'm not sure that you can draw it up any better than that. And that kid can flat run down the first baseline, but he hit it hard, as you said. It was about a 2-hopper. Suarez or Peraza did not take a whole lot of time getting rid of that baseball.
You know, we were talking about him in the first inning. Peraza is really, really playing well. You know, I know that last year he took over for Brandon Phillips at second base. There was a pressure of taking that job. It didn't go well for him. He didn't hit at all. I mean, he had a bad year. You call it whatever you want to call it. He would tell you he had a bad year. And now he's replacing Zach Cozart at shortstop, but You know, with each passing week, he just seems to be getting better and better and better, and that's all for the Indians in the 5th. Reds lead 4-1. We're off to the 6th.
Homer, 68 RBI. He's first in the National League with those RBI, second in OPS. The last Red to finish top 2 in both of those categories in the National League for an entire year. George Foster, 1977. He is elated to be an All-Star.
My numbers are there, and I work hard for this, and I feel so happy, and it's an honor for me to be part of all the time, be part of the All-Star game now.
Well, I tell you what, Tom and Jim, it couldn't happen to a better guy either. A fantastic player. He's made himself an all-star, and he's made himself into a great third baseman as well. It's not just the offensive numbers, guys.
I would totally agree with that. And I think, as Tom was talking about, the continued progress of one Jose Peraza, I think a lot of that progress for Peraza is because of the leadership of the man standing at the plate right now.
First pitch swing, got jammed with that pitch, and that's 1 pitch, 1 out to open the Reds' 6th inning. You were talking about what you witnessed over the weekend. You know, maybe not all eyes were on Suarez and Peraza over a play that happened over the weekend.
Peraza had made a mistake in the infield, and it happens. It's just part of the nature of the game. But Jim came out to talk to the pitcher, and normally all of the infielders come in. Well, Peraza was kind of bent down behind second base. He was upset about not making the play, and Peraza looked at him, kind of snapped his fingers, said, "Come on in." Peraza kind of shook his head a little bit, and he snapped that hand as if to say, "Get in here." But I think you learn as much or more from your peers and your teammates on the field how to handle the game mentally much more than you do from coaches. I think that's just part of the game. It's part of guys that have been there. We saw the struggles of Eugenio Suarez when he moved to third base and how difficult that was to change for him. And now you've got a youngster in Peraza who was a shortstop, then he was at second, then he was in the outfield, and now he's got a place to play. And I think Suarez is really helping him handle it from the neck up.
Maybe help Castillo a little bit. I mean, they all spend a lot of time together. I don't know, you would know Cowboy better than I ever will. I mean, you know, can a position player impart any kind of knowledge to a pitcher?
I think that you can. I think for a young pitcher, it's difficult to hear from a position player a lot of times, but I think that group, that trio there's some good communication that goes on, and I think it's understanding as well from Suarez's sake and from Peraza's sake for what they see for Luis Castillo. But for the cat in the middle, it all comes down to fastball location. When he's able to locate his fastball, he's already got a great changeup, and we see the swing and miss rate that's about half the time. That's about as good as it gets. But you can't get to 0-2 and then go to 3-2 every single batter and then give up hits or walks. It's not a successful way to pitch. And he's better than that. We've seen it.
Good night for Tucker. 2 out of 2. 2 runs batted in, a double and a single. So Clevenger has not fooled him. Although ahead here after a good breaking ball, 0-2. Got him to chase a high fastball, and that's 10 strikeouts in the game for Clevenger. As you enjoy a Miller Lite, perhaps, we'll look forward to our whole true moment later in tonight's game. Reds with a 4-1 lead. We are in the 6th. First of 3 games in the battle for the Ohio Cup. There'll be a total of 6 games in this series. The Indians will come to Cincinnati in August. Here's Duvall. Swung on and missed that breaking ball. Duvall had an extra base hit taken away on a drive to center field, which sent Allen crashing into the wall before catching it back in the 2nd inning, and then Duvall struck out on that breaking ball in the 4th. Back-to-back hooks.
We were talking about Castillo just a second ago. Being successful and handling success gets you to the big leagues, but being able to overcome failure keeps you in the big leagues. And there's a process by which you decipher both of those.
Try to sneak a fastball by him, and Duvall makes contact, fouling it away, and remains 0-2. Went back to the breaking ball and chopped foul.
Zepchinski, left-hander, warming down in the Indians bullpen. Well, he's been around forever.
Well, he has as many
years as he has letters in his name.
Well, I was getting ready to say vowels. I mean consonants as he has in his name. That pitch taken high. I mean, every year that cat turns up somewhere, doesn't he?
Left-hander throws strikes. Doesn't beat himself.
One and 2 to count on Duvall. Struck him out on the breaking ball, and that'll end the inning. 11 strikeouts in 6 innings, and Clevenger is trailing the Reds 4-1. the second game with the Hotel Transylvania ticket package. Special character appearances by Draken Mavis. Packages start as low as $20. Get yours today at reds.com/themes. All right. Bottom of the 6th inning. Reds in front 4-1. Anthony DeStefani's allowed 4 hits. He's walked 1. He struck out 1. The only run was a solo home run by Yonder Alonso back in the Cleveland 4th inning. Heart of the order here. It's a big inning for DeStefani. You've got 2, 3, and 4. Brantley, Ramirez, Encarnacion, 2 of the 3 All-Stars, and you could make an argument Encarnacion could be going to the All-Star game were it not for a brutal month of April. Because since May, he has knocked the cover off the ball and has 20 home runs and 62 runs batted in, and not going to the All-Star game.
DeStefani has been awfully careful with Michael Brantley in both at-bats here tonight.
Walk and a single for Brantley, the only Indian to reach twice. How about that? Caught his glove. Backhand pickup. It's big league play. Well done.
Guy next to him doesn't look real happy. Maybe he missed it, or he couldn't get that blue glove on in time.
Strike 3 called.
I'll tell you, that fastball for DeStefani has made all the difference here tonight. Starts that ball inside and just. This is under the hands of Michael Brantley and run right back over the inside corner, and you're, as a hitter, you're thinking, well, what? How did that get back there?
That's one of the coolest pitches to watch on TV.
It's also one of the hardest ones to make.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. So how do you throw a pitch like that?
Two-seamer. You have to start it on that side of the plate. You start it off the plate, but if your aiming point is your aiming point is 2 or 3 inches off the inside corner, a lot of times that ball runs back to the middle. So you have to trust that you can start it 6 inches, 8 inches in off the plate. You almost use the hitter's hands as a guide to where you start the ball right underneath the bat. Start the ball in there, and then you let it come back. Trial and error. But when you err, they hit it out as Alonso did.
That's when the trial begins.
That's right.
Back-to-back outs. A strikeout and a pop-up. And here's Encarnacion, who struck out looking and grounded out to Scooter Gennett. Edwin. You know, we were talking about 6 years in a row for this guy, hitting 30 or more home runs. A couple of years, of course, he hit a lot more than that. I tell you, his power numbers in his career are pretty staggering. I mean, this guy is he's closing in on 400 home runs and 1,100 runs batted in. That's a lot of home runs and a lot of RBIs, man.
Well, especially considering the fact that the Reds cut him loose, then the Blue Jays cut him loose, and then I think the A's cut him loose. He went back to the Blue Jays, and then all of a sudden he found his swing. And when he found it, he has not lost it.
Well, not what you want to do. A 2-out walk with a 3-run lead. The battle for the Ohio Cup will continue tomorrow. Reds swing into summer. Game 2 of the series presented by Click It or Ticket. Reds live coverage from here at Progressive Field begins at 6:30. I mean, a whole cast of characters here. All of a sudden that budget swelling as we come into the home office in Cleveland, Ohio. That will end the inning. We're off to the 7th. What a game by DeSclafani.
For heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
As Billy Hamilton strolls to the plate, what a last 20 games he's had. 375 average, but more importantly, a 431 on-base percentage. Now, Tom and Jeff, he says, look, I want to be a leadoff hitter. I do not want to hit ninth. And Jim Riggleman says, make me put you back in that top spot. 2 doubles, 5 RBI, 10 stolen bases, 17 runs in that time. It may be time to put Billy back in the top spot. He really wants to be there.
Well, I mean, 20 games, you just saw the numbers. I mean, that on-base percentage at 431. You put him in a leadoff spot with Votto, Suarez, Jeanette behind him. I mean, it doesn't have to be 431. You get it to 381, and he'd lead the league in runs scored.
There's no doubt about that.
Base hit into left center field. Hamilton aboard for the first time tonight. And now let the fun begin. Billy with 21 steals, only been thrown out 4 times.
But I think the spot that Hamilton is in right now, as we see Terry Francona heading to the mound, I think you want Hamilton to continue in that same mode. I think you don't quite go to the reward atmosphere quite yet. I think he's in a good spot. You want to continue to stay in that good spot, and that just happens to be hitting ninth right now.
So they'll bring on the left-hander. This will be our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Pit France against Belgium. That'll be tomorrow with coverage beginning at 1 o'clock on Fox. You can stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Now to the Final Four. Who's the other game? It's Croatia and... Why am I drawing a blank? Of course, it's England. First time in, what, 28 years they've been in the Final Four. Mark Zebczynski, the left-hander, takes over on the mound. Hamilton a huge lead over there at first. And Schebler fouls it away for strike one.
I was going to try to jump in there and help you with that soccer stuff.
Yeah, and
I'm just a baseball guy.
Yeah, baseball guy. He's a baseball guy. I mean, that's the one country I should have been able to nail. England. Been a very exciting time over there. Some of the video we've seen from London and points beyond. 0-1 pitch. Pulled foul, 0-2.
Can you imagine what kind of shape you have to be in to play soccer at that level?
Oh, yeah. I'm just amazed what a mess the men's program is here in the United States. I've read multiple articles documenting what's happened the last 7, 8, 10 years. It's just mind-boggling. More people playing that sport, more kids than any other sport. Runner goes and not going to get Billy. He's on his way to third. He scored on a play like this yesterday when that ball was bobbled by the center fielder in Chicago. So Billy, the stolen base, he goes to third on a throwing error by Gomes, and he's at third with nobody out. Yesterday was unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I thought Al Morris sort of dogged it a little bit on this play.
Well, I just don't think that any outfielder or infielder for that matter thinks that you're going to steal second, head to third, and then turn around and go on to the plate. And it happened later to the Reds.
Into right center field. Schebler has his third hit, and the Reds have tacked on another run. And that's what we're talking about with Hamilton. It's a 5-1 ball game. He gets on base, and the next thing you know, he's standing at third with nobody out.
He just creates disaster. I mean, it's mayhem. He's on the base paths, and everybody has to have a heightened awareness, or you're in trouble. And even then, sometimes you get too anxious and you mess up.
Now look, I know a lot of you are sitting at home, and you would be 100% correct. Don't get me wrong. That Hamilton has had more than ample opportunity over the last 5 years to bat in the leadoff spot and get on base and steal bases and score runs. There is no debate about that. But the question that Jeff Picorro just brought up, and what Jim Riggleman has talked about recently, is the way he's going right now with that 340 plus batting average over a month, with that 320 plus batting average and 420 plus on base percentage over the last 21 games, including tonight. The question is right now the time to put him back in a leadoff spot and see how he does for a while?
Well, I think the key for Billy is being able to have the same consistent at-bats time after time after time. And a lot of that comes with confidence. And right now his confidence is very high.
Ground ball. And bobbled by Kipnis, and everybody's safe. Went a long way to get there. And runners at first and second, still nobody out.
I think what you don't want to see with Hamilton is the issues of putting him back in the top of the order and him changing the way he goes about his at-bats because he's in the top of the order.
So now Joey Votto, the batter, with nobody out, a run home. That has scored an error 2 in the inning for the Indians. Close the book on Clevenger. He goes 6+, allows 7 hits, 5 runs. And we'll have to wait to see whether or not that'll be an earned run. Actually, it is an earned run after the single by Schebler. So 5 earned runs in his 6+ innings, 11 strikeouts. He walked 3. 2 of those 3 scored. Back to the mound. This should be an easy double play, and it is. That'll bring up Scooter. 0 for 2. He's lined out to right. Walked and scored. Struck out in the 5th. And a ground ball routinely to the shortstop. Reds get 1. Could have been a lot more than that. Middle of the 7th, 5-1 Cincinnati.
Body. Yeah, he's got a good slider and a good changeup, but they all play off of this fastball. You can see the hitter throw his hands up there. When your fastball is down and it's got that type of sinking movement, it's just tough to get the barrel of the bat to the baseball, and sometimes when you do, you hit it right at somebody.
Reds lead 5-1. Kipnis count of 0-2 to lead off the bottom of the 7th inning. One and 2 on Kipnis. 0 for 2 in the game. Is fly to center and tapped out to Votto. And a soft liner, fair ball, broke his bat. Ricochets to Schebler. Look out here. Kipnis is not running well, and it's cut off. Kipnis running well enough.
Just a mistake with the fastball there. that's one of those ones where you want it to start at the hitter's hands and stay there. That pitch ran back over middle inside part of the plate, and he had Kipnis down 0-2.
And Danny Darwin, a very long, slow walk from the first base side dugout. Amir Garrett is throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. In fact, he started throwing before the inning began. And now a quick message from Miami Valley Gaming.
Get ready to get lucky.
I think this is the part that we were talking about as we began the ball game. There are times that DeSclafani hits the wall, and when he has hit the wall in his last few ball games, that has been it. There has been no get out of the inning on my own. And I imagine that after the double, once ahead 0-2 in the count, maybe the Reds are thinking, all right, this may be the point in time where we really have to keep an eye on DeSclafani.
Don Gomes a batter after a leadoff double by Kipnis. 0-1. Up until the last 2 days, that has been a sure fire Cincinnati bullpen. But now all of a sudden chinks in the armor for the first time all year long for the left-hander who's getting warmed up right now. That would be Amir Garrett. He has really struggled his last 3 or 4 times out. That's where a lot of times you can look at a team's just statistical numbers and you can say, okay, their bullpen ERA is fill in the blank. It's 14th out of 15 in the league, just theoretically. But, you know, you use the Reds as an example. You didn't have Lorenzen. You didn't have David Hernandez for the first month plus 6 weeks. Ever since they've come back, it's been as good a bullpen as anybody around. These last 2 days, it's been tough losses. Gone swinging his Gomes for the first out in the inning. Really tough losses the last 2 days. Yeah. I mean, you know,
great ball games, but very difficult to take when you lose them from your bullpen.
Especially Saturday. I mean, yesterday, you know, Cubs have won a lot of those kind of games. They've been coming from behind and beating people late all year long. But the Saturday game where twice you had, what, 5-run leads? Or yesterday you had 5-run leads. That's the one that really hurts. So 1 away in the inning for the number 8 hitter Naquin. Got to believe this will be the final inning of work for DeSclafani as he's closing in on 100 pitches, 5 short.
Well, when you see DeSclafani start to leave pitches up as he did the last pitch, the end is near, because he is a sinker ball pitcher. He keeps the ball down in the zone, and when the ball starts to fly on him, and even that pitch, I mean, that's back-to-back pitches that have been up at the top of the strike zone or out.
This next pitch will match his season high 97 pitches. Hamilton waiting for the second out. You know, really, you look at the pitches you talked about leaving him up, but he's retired the last 2 batters really without even breaking a sweat. And the base hit in this inning's a broken bat.
I think you have a 5-1 lead. You're at the very bottom of the order. You would like for DeSclafani to continue to stretch himself out. I mean, he's had very limited starts. It's only his 7th start of the year. So you want to continue to push him pitch-wise, but still keep the game under control. If this was a 3-1 ball game, he would have already been out after the double.
Straight up in the air, and he's going to get through 7 innings here tonight. What an outstanding start by Anthony DeSclafani. 7 innings of 5-hit, 1-run baseball, and maybe his night's not over. We'll have to wait and see. You don't hit for the pitcher in this league. For the Ohio Cup, and Jesse Winker with a double to make it 2-0 Cincinnati after Barnhart had knocked in the first run, and then Tucker got his second RBI right behind Winker with a single into right field. Reds were up 3-0. Stayed that way until Yonder Alonso, former #1 pick of the Reds, clubbed his 13th home run. That went to the seats in right, but the very next half inning, Joey Votto answered with #9 to left center field. Reds would get one more run in the 7th inning on a single by Billy, who stole second, went to third on a throwing error. Schebler's third hit, first RBI, and that's where we stand. 5 runs, 8 hits, 5 left for the Reds. 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors, 5 stranded for the Indians. Reds bat here in the 8th, and the Tribe once again going to its bullpen.
Dan Otero. Look at some of these numbers out of the Cleveland bullpen. These are not numbers we're used to seeing. ERAs in excess of 5.
I mean, this bullpen is a mess. And for a team 10 games over 500, and again, we repeat, their main weapon out of the bullpen is on the DL, and they're going to take their time in bringing Andrew Miller, dominant left-hander, back. But the rest of the bullpen's a mess. I mean, you can call it whatever you want to call it, and Terry Francona can't come out and say that, but everybody that watches this team on a regular basis will tell you if they can tidy that up. And look at those numbers. I mean, look at those numbers. 44 home runs, an ERA of over 5. And they've thrown the fewest number of innings of any bullpen in baseball. But if they get that cleaned up, and I think most people would agree that you can fix the bullpen, or at least attempt to fix it, quicker maybe than any other, major. It's hard to go get a #1 starter. It's hard to go get a Manny Machado back. But you can make a couple of lesser deals to bring in some guys to shore up the bullpen. Base hit to center field by Suarez to open the 8th. His first hit.
Well, I think the Reds are very indicative of that. Their offseason moves to sign Jared Hughes and David Hernandez. I think that has been huge for this club. Especially when you got out of the gate and you didn't have Michael Lorenzen. Now, granted, David Hernandez had a little bit of injury issue to begin the year, but they've all benefited by having those 2 veterans down there.
I mean, they have done exactly even more than you expected them to do so far.
I would say so.
Brewers a 2-1 lead in the 7th inning down in Miami. Pirates are leading in the 7th 6-3 over the Nationals. Boy, there is a team. Go figure, the Nationals. I mean, everybody, when we saw them very, very early in the year, obviously opened the season against them, and you look at that starting rotation, you look at some of their position players, and you're thinking, wow. But it has not played out that way so far, closing in on 90 games. That is a team 1 game over 500. 1 game. Base hit left field by Winker. So back-to-back singles against Otero here in the Reds' 8th. I'm not so sure that I would necessarily, you know, if it's a stock right now, Cowboy, I'm not so sure that I'm buying on the Nationals.
Well, there's more competition in the East than there has been in years past. The Braves are playing not as good a baseball as we've seen in some time. And the Phillies have had a complete restructure, and their rebuilding has come forward in a hurry.
They're 11 over.
And you get clubs playing like that. That makes it a little more difficult to win ball games if you're the Nationals. You're playing some competitive ball clubs day in and day out. Now the Mets and the Marlins, not so much, but still, who thought that the Phillies would be where they are right now? And I don't think there were many people that thought the Braves would be where they are.
No. What do they ask Barnhart to bunt? They tried it yesterday, didn't work out. And a line drive, an out.
Well, normally Barnhart, a very adept bunter. He just happened to lunge at the ball yesterday, bunted the ball right back to the mound, and made it an easy play for the pitcher to get the runner at third base. But in a 5-1 ball game, you've got the lead. Why not keep your foot on the accelerator here?
Here's Duvall with runners at first and second and 1 out. Broken bat, foul ball. You can follow every Reds game right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Then stick around for Reds Live, brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. And after sitting in the stands and eating hot dogs all night, Brian and Sam are getting ready. I'm sure the makeup person will come out and get them all dolled up and pretty here shortly.
They get to get hot dogs?
And they have a makeup person. That's why they look so good. And they got a bathroom right behind them there.
What's up with us?
Well, the bathroom's about 200 yards down the hall.
Seen a hot dog today.
And now, did you have the makeup person come over here before the game?
No.
See, it's the same at every level. I mean, you know, like we do the NFL, right? You know, you just go out in a game, you know, and you're just there, right? But you know, the guys in the studio, you know, Bradshaw and Howie Long and all those guys, they got the makeup going, and that's a double play. So a little bit of makeup work there done by Otero after back-to-back singles to begin the inning. Reds still lead 5-1. Reds Hall of Fame induction. Big ceremony honoring this year's class. Adam Dunn, Dave Bristol, Fred Norman. Don't miss this celebration presented by PNC Bank. Visit Reds.com today. That's Saturday, July 21st. That'll be a big day. And we'll have that whole ceremony on Reds Live. Marty Brenneman, a big part of that ceremony, along with George Grant, Jim Day, and a cast of thousands. That'll be a big day. All right, Amir Garrett takes over for Dee Sclafani. 7 outstanding innings. 5 hits, 1 run. He struck out only 3, walked only 2. Boy, he pitched well tonight. Really, really well against a good offensive team. Not a great offensive team. Their first 4 or 5 guys in the order are really, really good. After that, it's very average. So the top of the order for Amir Garrett. Strike 1 on Lindor. Now Garrett, yesterday he comes in the game. He looks really good the first inning. They run him back out there for a second inning. And he walks consecutive batters, and they get him out of the game. Both of those guys come in to score. The Reds blow the 5-run lead. This guy has had a great year.
No doubt. The second inning has been the one that has been difficult for him to continue to keep that emotion up.
That ball smoked into right center field. Holy Moses, was that ball hit. And a double by Lindor to open the Cleveland 8th.
Well, you see where the location of that pitch is. Whenever the catcher's mitt comes up and back towards the middle of the plate, those get hit hard. It's only the second hit by those first 4 that you and I were talking about, and only the first extra base hit.
Fly ball into left field will back up Duvall a few paces. He'll make the catch, and the runner Lindor will bluff the tag. Duvall, his throw high, and here comes Lindor. He saw immediately that ball came out of his fingers high and alertly took off for third base. What a heads-up play by Lindor.
No doubt about it. He tagged. He was not originally running. He read the throw, and he read it perfectly.
He did something so smart there too, Cowboy. He went back to the bag. As soon as the ball was caught, his first 4 steps are hard. There's no way they can double him up. And then he waits and sees, right?
They make you make a throw.
Right. Well, that's just smart.
It's just good baseball.
Really good. Really good. Guy's a player.
That's a mental play. That's not a physical play. That's a mental play.
Now Ramirez off to the first base side and amongst the fans. Strike 1.
And normally that's a play that Duvall makes 9 out of 10 times. Probably 19 out of 20 times.
Yes.
But not right there.
I'm a little bit surprised they didn't give him a throwing error on that play, because basically the runner had stopped. But at the end of the day, who cares? 1 ball and 1 strike. Bottom fell out of that pitch.
This is a breaking ball that's got some bite to it. We've got a hitter in Ramirez. He's trying to catch up and center up one of those fastballs.
Popped up. Playable. Out number 2. That's a really good player, and that at bat was abuse right there. So now Encarnacion is struck out, bounced to second, drawn a walk. Runner at third. Reds lead by 4, bottom of the 8th. Straight up in the air, should end the inning. Votto underneath it. What a job by Garrett. After a leadoff double, retires Brantley, Ramirez, and Encarnacion in order.
May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Again, a reminder, Saturday, July the 21st, if you come early, we have that special pregame Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And the first 20,000 fans through the gates will receive a Reds cap presented by Fox Sports Ohio. You can be there as low as $12 for tickets. Visit Reds.com. Well, that's a huge day. When you buy a ticket, you get to see Adam Dunn, Freddie Norman, Dave Bristol inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame on the field, and you get a Reds hat. Pretty good going. It has been a rough year for this young man. Started the season in the rotation, and things have gone from bad to worse for Josh Tomlin. Pitching out of the bullpen for the first time in his career, and it's just not gone well. To his credit, he's not made any excuses about it, pitching out of the bullpen for the first time. But look at those numbers, including 48 innings, has given up a whopping 20 home runs. And Billy, a base hit into center to start it.
Well, it's one thing for Josh Tomlin to pitch at 88 or 90 down in the zone, and that's where he's been over the last few years. But when your fastball starts to get back down where that last one was at 85, it's going to be awfully tough to make it work right-handed.
Billy, his second straight hit. He stole second, went to third on a throwing error, and scored on a base hit by Schebler. Scott has 3 hits in the game, 3 singles.
Hamilton never even hardly went off the bag. Maybe a step or two, just expecting the throw from Tomlin.
If I remember right, I don't have the numbers here in front of me, but I think I remember, we've seen Tomlin so many times in the past. I thought I remembered him being very good at keeping runners close.
He's got a good move, and he's quick to the plate. But normally, he is right at the kneecaps or below. And when you're pitching up mid-thigh and you don't have some serious velocity, you're going to get hit hard.
Yeah, I think my memory for the first time in quite some time has served me well. He has given up a total in his career, of 11 stolen bases, 10 caught stealing, career. And that's over a little more than 8.5, 9 years. And this one is launched deep into the ninth for Schebler, a 4-hit game and a 2-run home run. And that will pretty much kick the door down here, 7-1 in the ninth inning.
You cannot pitch at that part of the strike zone without some 95-mile-an-hour plus velocity. He's trying to cut the ball. It's taking velocity off the pitch, and that pitch didn't cut a lick.
Second 4-hit game of the year for Schebler. Long throw by Kipnis in time to get Peraza.
I mean, all three of the balls have been bullets here in this inning.
Now Votto. This will be our Miller time hold true moment. A 4-hit night for Schebler, capped off with a home run. And of course, earlier in the game, it was Votto's home run, just his 3rd since the middle of May, his 9th of the year. And that is our hold true moment from Joey Votto. Pulled foul. Marlins have jumped in front. Top of the 8th, 3-2 over Milwaukee. Cubbies later tonight out west in San Francisco.
You know, the guy that's been a disappearing act in Milwaukee has been Domingo Santana. They sent him down to try to get that swing back in order.
And he had a big time year for them last year.
I mean, he got great power the other way.
A lot of talk in Milwaukee. You know, what are the Brewers going to do? There's a team that no doubt will make a big move at the trade deadline. There's ball four to Votto. The question for the Brewers is, you know, their offense is a lot like Cleveland. I think top to bottom, you know, they're deeper in their lineup than Cleveland is. Their stars aren't the Cleveland stars necessarily, but you know, they're the kind of team where you can watch them for 3 games and they'll score 4 runs, but then the next 3 games they'll score 15 runs. And so, you know, the big talk in Milwaukee right now is, do you go get that #1 guy or close to a #1 guy? I don't know if you consider
talking
to
about
be
a pitcher.
Yeah, I don't know if you consider to be Cole Hamels a #1 guy anymore. I don't know if he is or isn't. We never see him anymore. He used to be for sure. And he's off to a very good start. Or do you make the decision that our bullpen is so great, and it is great, that if our starters give us 5, we can win? And you go get Manny Machado.
And that's where they have the biggest hole, is up the middle. Not from a defensive standpoint, but Arcia has not swung the bat well at all. Neither has Jonathan Villar. They've tried to mix and match up the middle. It's not working. They got some guys that can hit.
Oh, yeah.
They would be a National League club that would benefit by the DH.
Well, especially if they got Santana rolling again. I mean, you know, Braun's come back, started to play better.
But the problem with Santana is you've got Braun, Kane, and Yelich.
Yep.
You've got Eric Thames or Aguilar at first base. Yep. There's no spot for Santana to play on a regular basis.
Low roller that will go foul.
I don't think the Brewers had any idea, and probably most people didn't, that Aguilar would come on the way that he did. He's been a great hitter off the bench for them since they got him from these Cleveland Indians. But now he's taking up a spot that was supposed to be for Thames and Ryan Braun.
That's right.
And Santana would have been your right fielder with the combination of Kane and Yelich, center and left. But now you don't have enough positions to put players in the lineup, or it's just the way it is. Good problem to have.
Sure is. But if you're them, what would you do? You go get Machado, or you go get, say, Cole Hamels?
If I could get Machado, I'd get Machado.
Okay.
I'd just try to outscore him.
Okay.
In the back end of their bullpen, Jeffress, Hader, and Corey Knebel. I'll take that.
Driven into left field. That'll be run down by Michael Brantley. We'll come down to Great American Ballpark Saturday, August the 4th. The Zach Brown Band Down the Rabbit Hole Tour featuring Leon Bridges. You can get your tickets at Zach Brown or Reds.com/Zach Brown Band. Of course, they had the Luke Bryan show at the ballpark a few weeks ago. And they've got some good shows coming up in the ballpark after the game. Cincinnati's very own Walk the Moon. They'll be at the ballpark coming up here after the All-Star break. And there's a strike to Suarez. And then the guy you like, Jake Owens, right?
88-second ride.
There you go. Two outs here in the Cincinnati ninth inning. Reds have scored in 5 of their 9 at-bats tonight.
And I think you're seeing this more and more out of this Reds offense. They just continue to keep the pressure on the opponent. When you're playing a team like they did with the Cubs, you pretty much have to continue to put runs on the board offensively, because the Cubs are not going to let up. It's just when you're playing better teams, that's the way it is.
This will end the inning. The Reds come up with a 2-run home run by Schebler. They leave a runner and lead 7-1. Indians bat in the bottom of the 9th when we come back on Fox Sports Ohio. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Toyota, for over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing, 30 minutes before the start of every game. Be coming your way tomorrow night, 6:30. An American League All-Star, Trevor Bauer, will start tomorrow against Sal Romano. I know a couple of Cleveland fans that you just don't even want to utter the name Trevor Bauer. Going to the All-Star game or not.
Really?
Oh, yeah. One of the all-time classic lines ever uttered by any athlete in the history of professional sports is when he got lit last year in the division series, and the comment was made, "I am not a slave to results."
He said that?
I am not a slave to results.
I would beg to differ.
Well, the question is, are the results meaning something to his teammates? And there's a walk by Garrett on 4 pitches. This is what happened here yesterday. He goes out for the second inning, and he walked 2 in a row, and now they got to send out the pitching coach again.
You have to figure out how to keep yourself emotionally keyed in, whether you're going out for 2 innings, whether it's an inning and a third, but when you come back in off the mound and you sit down, and this is not Garrett's not used to pitching out of the bullpen. This is his first year really doing this over the long haul. But you have to figure out a way to not let yourself mentally step out of the ball game. And whatever it takes to do that, even if you have to stand up and pace back and forth up and down the dugout, you have to keep yourself mentally and emotionally sharp.
Rainey cranking it up in the bullpen. He was up in between innings just in case. Reds leading 7-1. Bottom of the 9th. Anyway, you know, just to sort of tie a ribbon around the Bauer thing. I mean, look, the guy's a good pitcher. He's always been a very odd sort of guy. He has his own sort of training regimen. He's out on the field, and we'll show you tomorrow night. He'll be doing all kinds of calisthenics and, you know, different things that you just don't see other people do literally an hour before the game starts. And the Diamondbacks got so frustrated by Bauer, they traded him. He was a #1 pick, top 10 pick out of UCLA by Arizona, and they basically, Kirk Gibson and Tony La Russa basically gave this guy away. And here he is, an all-star, and people here in Cleveland will tell you that he is a lightning rod among the fan base. There are some that love him, and there are some that quite honestly don't. But he can pitch.
Got a great arm.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And there's not a guy who's going to work any harder in baseball. I mean, he is a physical specimen and a workout freak in good ways, not just some guy pumping iron in a weight room. Three and 1 on Kipnis. Boy, oh boy. Borderline pitch here. He got a gift. Kipnis can't believe it.
Well, the only reason that he got the strike is because it split the plate in half. It may have been underneath the strike zone, but borderline at best.
Kipnis fouls it out of play. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Kipnis. Down the right field line, and that one is gone. A walk and a 2-run home run here in the Cleveland bottom of the 9th inning, and still nobody out. Second straight day that Garrett gives up 2 when he comes out for his second inning of work. And now Jim Riggleman's got to come get him. So we'll take a break in the action. Schebler hit that big home run in the top half of this inning, or else right now it's a 5-3 game and you're bringing in your closer. Back in a minute. It's a young man with some big time potential here in Tanner Rainey.
No doubt about it. Just a matter of getting used to, as Dusty Baker used to say, the third deck, because he has pitched awfully well in AAA. Actually pitched well everywhere he's been since he's been coming out of the bullpen, except up here. And a lot of it has been control issues.
Yep, big time.
But he has got a big time arm.
Very hard time throwing the ball over the plate. First pitch, little looper into short right. And that will fall in a hit for Yan Gomes. He's trying for second base. And he'll get in there with a double.
He gets jammed on this ball, but he gets it into the outfield. Just didn't think that Schebler was going to have a play on that ball. He made a great effort.
Well, you need to start picking up some outs now, because all of a sudden you're 3 batters away from rolling over back to the top of this Cleveland batting order, where runs can jump on you in a hurry. And that should be the first out of the inning. One hopper to Suarez. So that's a number 8 batter. You got the 9 batter now, and then Lindor. And just in case, Iglesias pacing around down there. He's not in full get ready mode yet. Greg Allen, the batter, 0 for 3. Looper into left and another base hit. And now all of a sudden a 4-run game and the big fellas are coming up. You can call them whatever you want to call them, dinks and dunks. The bottom line is they're base hits. If you bring in Iglesias now, it's a save situation and he's coming in. Apparently he was already set to go. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. These last 3 days for Jim Riggleman, every time he calls for that bullpen, he just doesn't know what he's getting.
I'm not sure that Iglesias was actually ready. He threw 2 very quick pitches as Riggleman was going to the mound.
So this is a safe situation now with Iglesias with a potential tying run standing in the on-deck circle. And he still is just now coming out of the bullpen. We're back in a moment. To start the inning, a double and a single with 1 out sandwiched in between. A 7-3 Cincinnati lead, and now on for a chance at his 18th save is right-hander Raisel Iglesias.
Well, not exactly how you would draw up the 9th inning with a 7-1 lead, but you've got your best out there, and now he's got to get it done.
And he's facing the best Cleveland player in Lindor. With runners on the corners. Fastball in there at 95, strike 1. Lindor turns around and goes back to the left side of the plate. His only hit came as a right-handed batter against Garrett, a double into right center field in the 8th. Some people have asked ever since Garrett got hit with that line drive, he's just not been the same guy. I don't think it has anything to do because he didn't even get hit on the bone. I mean, he got hit basically on the outside of the calf. You get hit on the bone, that's a little different ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Served into left field. So bring in a run, but you trade it for the out.
No doubt.
That makes it 7-4, and the Indians down to their final out of the game. That run will be charged to to Rainey, I beg your pardon. 1 out to go. And the batter is Michael Brantley. Lined into right center field, a base hit. This will bring in another run as the ball is off of Schebler's glove. And it'll go as a double. The tying run will come to the plate in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Trying to get ahead with the first pitch fastball, and he just leaves it in the heart of the plate.
Holy Moses, this is 3 days in a row now. 1 more out to go. Ramirez voted as a starter for the American League All-Star team for a 2nd straight year. Leads the team with 24 home runs. 0 for 4 tonight. Pull the string on him there to get ahead 0-2.
He was thinking fastball and tie the game up with 1 swing of the bat. The helmet almost came off.
Strike away and out away from an opening game win, which he'll get as Iglesias strikes out Ramirez, his 18th save of the year. The throw to first will cap it off. So in round 1 of 6 in the battle for the Ohio Cup, Schebler a 4-hit game, a 2-run home run. DeSclafani outstanding on the mound, and Iglesias picks up the final 2 outs, his 18th save. And the Reds go to 9-2 in interleague play this season. How about that? Matched up against the American League Central Division. They've dominated that division so far this year. All right. A cast of thousands standing by for Reds Live. I mean, they brought everybody on this trip. You tend to blow out the budget when they can drive instead of fly. Final count is 7-5. We're back in a minute.